Welcome to Unselfishly Me, a podcast all about self-love, self-care, and everything in between. I'm Jane, a personal trainer with a focus on self-love. Each week, we'll be chatting to someone about their self-love journey, how long it took, and what it took to get there. So I didn't do a podcast this week because there were so many things going on. There was so much building. There was just, they were doing the paving and they do like a circular saw and they go, rah, and it's just, every 30 seconds basically. And I was just over it. And I think I was getting really annoyed with it because I needed to do it. But at the same time, I was just like, I also have to just let it go. And the perfectionism part of me was like, no, you have to do it because everyone's going to see that you didn't do a podcast episode this week, and it's not like when you took a break and that was intentional. This is going to not match up and they're going to be like, what happened in that week? And you just want everything to be perfect. So I realized I was being silly and that people probably didn't even notice that there wasn't a podcast episode. It's not like you have a million viewers, like 100 people are not going to notice, So after I let that go and that it was out of my control and that I actually wasn't feeling very inspired and it wasn't feeling like I was inspired to do it and I wanted to do it, it was feeling more like a chore, then I realized that that energy wasn't great anyway and I probably shouldn't be recording an episode. So I think that was happening for me, not to me, and I appreciate that the universe was having my back and just allowing me to take a break and not do something that wasn't feeling inspired. I think when we try and do things that aren't inspired, that's when there's a problem and you actually are forcing something that shouldn't be forced. And that can go for relationships or work or family, friendships, anything. So just a reminder to take off that perfectionist hat and just roll with the punches. I think a lot of us have learned to do that over lockdown. We've had to in the last 7-8 months, but it's just a reminder again when we slip into that you can't control everything. So stop trying to control everything. Let things happen in the time that they're meant to happen and when they're meant to happen. Maybe this happened so that I could share this message and one of you listening is like, oh my word, stop being such a perfectionist. So I thought that if I could help give one of you this message that perfectionism is such a control thing, you need to let go of control. You need to let things happen in the time that they're meant to happen, when they're meant to happen. Maybe this message is for one of you, and that's why I couldn't record it last week for this last Thursday, and that maybe someone out there needs to hear it right now. So if you are sitting on a business idea, if you're sitting on your website that hasn't been finished because you think you can't put it out there because it's not ready yet, it's not perfect, you can't put that product out there, you can't go on that holiday, you can't wear that costume or whatever the case is, stop trying to be perfect and just do what you want to do. Sometimes finished and done is just enough. So rather just get something done and then you can always figure it out afterwards. I always like to say, even if your website doesn't look amazing, people need to find the information. So rather do what you can. I just did that with my Legacy Mom website the other day. It doesn't look amazing, but it's there. Someone's already ordered 4 the other day, so it's obviously doing its job. It doesn't look as amazing as my other ones because I just didn't have the time to put it together. So just a little lesson that done is good enough. Like, get it out there. The sooner you get it out there, the better, that people can find it and they can find you and you can be heard. And I think that is the most important message, that we need to just be seen and heard, and that means you can't be perfect all the time and you need to just do it. So that is my biggest takeaway, is just getting something done. So there is noise outside, but today is Sunday and that means we only have one set of builders here and they are not making as much noise as the pavers. They were here yesterday. So not my best days, Monday to Saturday, which isn't great because those are your working days. But today I can at least hear myself think. It's not like a constant banging, a constant saw going off every 30 seconds. I can breathe. And I know I'm a loud person, but like quiet and calm is really important for me. And I haven't been getting much of that. And even coming up to my office, just like walking past so many people and having the noise. And this is usually like my quiet place, and having that noise outside, it's just like, sometimes it's easier just being in the house where you can kind of have distractions and things that can almost drown out the noise. So you can have the TV on and things like that, which isn't always ideal. Like sometimes I don't like having the TV on even. So yeah, I've really had to let go of being a perfectionist. Even this, usually I'd be like, let me cut that out, but now I'm not. So you can hear me stumbling over my words. But yeah, I never thought of myself as a perfectionist, but I do like to be in control. So those two kind of go hand in hand. So now I'm admitting that I like to do things properly. That's why I often will just get on with things and do them myself, because it's just easier than waiting for other people to do it and then mess it up. So I guess I am a little bit of a perfectionist. I always pride my work. I mean, even like at school and varsity, I loved doing assignments, and half the time I did the work myself because I was just happy to do it and to get it done properly. So I am a bit of a perfectionist, it seems. So I think that the takeaway from here is that no one noticed that one or two people did, but I was like panicking, thinking that. So calm yourself, let your ego get checked at the door. There's not like 1,000 people listening to this, and they don't notice and they don't really care. So don't be scared of putting yourself out there and putting something out there, your website, your new business, whatever it is, because you're too busy being a perfectionist. And people don't really judge. So we think they do, but we judge ourselves the harshest. We are our harshest critic. So the only person holding us up to these impossible standards are ourselves. So that is important to remember as well, is done is better than not done, and done is good enough. So just get it done, put it out there. Stop trying to be perfect, because nothing is perfect. And you know what? People like authentic, and they like real, and they like these conversations. So it's important to maybe start the conversations by putting yourself out there as well. Did you know we do Self-Love Sundays? Twice a month, we do 2 Connect sessions over Zoom. They're an hour long and they're 140 Rand per person. We have different topics, and then we repeat the most popular ones, such as Manifesting 101, Journaling 101, and Boundaries. The rest of the topics include decluttering your life, negative self-talk, and how to get over that. We did loving yourself during lockdown, and we have a whole host of other ones coming up soon. It's a great way to sit back, listen, watch, and learn about topics that interest you and perhaps things you need to heal within your own life. For the full schedule for the month, you can head to my Instagram at unselfishlyme, and then DM or email to book your spot. I hope I get to see you guys soon, and literally your faces, because it's amazing to connect over Zoom, and you don't have to have your microphone on. You just need to sit back, listen, learn. If you want to ask a question, you can. It's really casual, but it's also really nice for you to be able to see my face and to ask questions in the moment, and anything that you need to hear. Generally, someone else will ask a question that maybe you were thinking of and that you were too shy to ask, and it's usually a nice mix of people that are extroverts and introverts. So the extroverted ones will generally be the ones who ask the questions and are sharers, and it's nice because if you're a little bit more introverted, you can kind of sit and listen to the answers, and it might be something that you want to know as well. But then you can also email me after the session if you have any questions and if you need any clarity on anything in your life. So I'd love to have you join us for one of our Connect sessions. So I have relinquished control. I'm now recording this today, so it will be a week's break, but it doesn't actually matter because I think we all need a break. I think also I used to do this every second week. Then in lockdown, I was like, people are going to be bored. They're at home. I should do every week. And then that moved it to every week. And it's a lot of work when you're doing 500 other things. So I think that I need to also decide if I want to do it every second week. And see how it goes, because I don't know, I think a lot of people listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of different people. A lot of people don't listen to podcasts at all. When I did an Instagram poll the other day, And people, because I was like, why aren't you listening to my podcast? I want to know. I would love some more support. They follow me. It's like I've got over 4,000 followers. If even 400 people listened, it would be amazing. But a lot of people say they don't have time, they don't know how. And I think the time thing is, because podcasts in general, like not even mine, and I'm talking like they don't listen at all. And I think that's a cop-out, because if I, with my limited time, can listen, I listen to my podcast. I don't really drive around much, but when I do and I'm by myself, which it doesn't happen often, so I get very excited, then I pop one on in the car. I never listen to the radio anymore. Sorry, radio friends, because I find it a lot of crap and just the same old crap, and it's not soul enriching, and so it doesn't really interest me anymore. So I listen to podcasts so that I can learn and grow and be inspired. And then when I am rocking her to sleep or I'm feeding her to sleep, then I pop in an AirPod. So that's like a little Bluetooth headphone. And I listen to podcasts. So I listen to, it depends on the night, like 10 to 20 minutes, and then I'll finish it the next day or whatever. So that is when I fit them in. It takes me longer than it used to, but I get it in. And then if I'm walking, even if I'm walking her up the road, depends if I put one in so I can hear cars and things, but that's like 10, 15, sometimes 20 minutes I listen as well. So just prioritize, because it makes you happy and it makes you feel better and it makes you learn and be inspired. So the I don't have time thing is like rubbish, because even when you're cooking, you can listen to a podcast. When you're bathing the kids, you can listen to a podcast. Even when I am sitting outside with her now and playing with her in her sand pit, I don't put earpod in, I'll just put it on so she's also just listening, but she's not really because she's playing. I'll listen then. And then lately also when I'm playing in the house with her, I'll put an earphone in then because she's watching a little show or for 5 seconds and she's running off. And then I'll listen then as well. So it's just about what you choose to do with your time, I think. I don't have time, inverted commas, but you're scrolling Instagram for an hour and a half, and then Facebook, and then watching TV. Like I hardly watch Netflix. I watch like at night, but I'm actually on my laptop working. So am I really watching? Not really. So if you want to learn and be inspired and grow, you will make the time. And I think that is important to remember and tell yourself, because sometimes we need to be told these things and to see it and hear it. So maybe one of your friends says all these things and you need to send them this podcast as a sign, because we make a lot of excuses and we don't need to. So this is a very waffly POWcast, but I'm not being perfect today. I'm being vulnerable and open and honest, and I think that's what is important. So I don't know if you could hear them shouting in the background, but that's okay too. This year has just been about all of the stuff that we can't control, and it's never going to be perfect, and I think that is what this whole year is about, not being perfect. So if you can hear all that, you're welcome. And I'm going to record the Chakras 101 now for the next week's podcast. So if that's something that'll interest you, then definitely look out for that in the next few weeks. And the videos are all on demand now. So, I've got negative self-talk, all the workshops that I started doing in lockdown that I now have on demand, which is awesome. Because a lot of people couldn't make it on Sunday. They couldn't make it live. So now I've got all of those recorded, and you can have access in a Facebook group. It's 180 Rand. You have access for 3 days. So you can really dive into it, watch it. You can always watch it again with the notes, like write notes and things like that. So things that you can pause it, which is nice. You didn't have to do that live, that live option. So so that's why it's a little bit more expensive, because you're getting that added benefit as well. So if you'd like to book any of those, then just send me an email or DM me on Instagram at unselfishlyme. There's negative self-talk, boundaries, manifesting 101, chakras 101, and journaling 101. So some great topics to get you inspired and finishing this year off on a high. I hope that you have an imperfect week and you let go all the control that you're trying to control. And I will see you next week, hopefully. Thanks for listening to Unselfishly Me. Follow us on Instagram at unselfishlyme and check out our website www.unselfishlyme.com.